This episode has been brought to you by DiceyGoblin.com, online board game retailer, where every board game is an award-winning board game. Welcome back to Board Online, Board Offline. Alright, this was our first playthrough in August, which we did lose. However, there was a lot going on here, and it wasn't a complete loss. And it was not a complete loss, so you'll see what I'm talking about there in just a second. So let's start with the August mission briefing. We hope, or we have it on good authority, that there is an immunologist who has the knowledge to fashion a vaccine for Coda. We would very much like to speak to him. Could your team find him and bring him to us? His locations have been erratic, and he has not checked in recently. Thank you and your team for help. We need to focus all of our energy on Coda and can't spend time on eradicating diseases. Right now, destroy the eradicate at least one disease objective. All right, so as you can see, I had to destroy that objective, so that's no longer a possibility. Then, now the immunologist, if you remember, when we found the virologist, it said that she has done a good bit of work on Coda, but needs an immunologist to be able to create the vaccine for it. So that's what we're trying to find, the immunologist. As we went through the legacy deck, we found one of these, the search for the immunologist. You can see we start up at 0, obviously, and the immunologist is down at 8, so it's going to be much more difficult. Every time the epidemics get pulled, that would move, which means we'd only have, on the third epidemic, we would actually lose the immunologist for this round. And the way we advance the search token is one space for each city of the color we're in that we discard, and it has to be in a faded rioting city. So very specific. And actually, we only had a few of them, and you can see the vast majority of our faded cities now are collapsing or fallen. There's a few of them here, there, that are rioting. All right, and so advance 3 spaces if you discard the card matching your city, and for each medical character in the city you are searching, advance the search party 1 additional space per search action. All right, so what else did we find in the legacy deck? There was a new rule, and let me find the rule book here. I'll tell you what, the rule book I think is a little bit far away for me to get to without moving all my stuff here. So instead, let me just show you on here. There's a new action, and this is what went into the rule book as well. Self-sacrifice. Add a scar to your character to skip the infect step this turn. If you have no room for the scar, your character is lost. So, when we first heard that, we were like, I don't know when we'll ever actually use that. Well, we used it 3 times, I think, during this game. So, and real quick, the way we lost the game was we ran out of faded figures. Okay, so we pulled an epidemic and needed to put it down here. So that's kind of where we're at the moment. These just the sheer number of faded is what's really hurting us at the moment. So. Let's continue. During the game itself, so we got the objective ripped up. We need to find an immunologist. We got this card out of the legacy deck, which was the immunologist. Scratch off this card when you find the immunologist. All right. So we did find him during our game. Here's what he has to say. Can I create a vaccine? Yes. Maybe. It depends. I'll need some key data or this won't work. I'm starting to think that it is a bioengineered virus, which means someone has a record of how it was put together. I'll need the gene sequence of Coda, some DNA samples from the faded, and I don't know where you'll find this, but there would be virus development records if it is in fact bioengineered. Well, we already have the gene sequence because we got that from the virologist. It says there at the bottom, you now have the gene sequence of Coda. All right. So, don't know how we're going to find the DNA samples of virus development records yet. I'm sure that will be part of the future missions. What other things happened in the game here? Let's see. Now, the win bonus for July was that we can add both 1 starting military base and 1 military base to any one city on the board. We now have a starting military base in Paris. We thought that'd be a good place to put it, make it easier to get into Paris since it's fallen and get into Europe in general. The cool thing about that is we now automatically have this objective completed at the beginning of each game, have a military base in each of the 6 major regions of the world. So, what else we got here? Let's look at the scars that we took during the game. Our operations expert now has 2 scars. He is feeble. It takes 1 more action for you to quarantine. And weakened. If you ever have more than 2 equipment cards in your hand, immediately discard the excess. And then the scientist ended up getting regretful. Discard a card every time you leave a city with 3 cubes of the same color. And the dispatcher, reduce your hand limit by 1 card. All right, so that's where we're at with those guys. As you can see, we continue to just Europe and Asia, or at least the codivert portion of Asia has just really delved into some seriously, bad areas here with lots of 4s and a couple 5s. Now, what did we get out of Legacy deck at the end of the game? Well, we've got the Virologist. You may not play the Virologist until she's found. We did find her. As an action, discard a city card of the coda color to remove a fated figure from any city, so that's good. As an action, discard a city card matching your city to remove all the fated figures from it. All right. We got this game and upgrade here. Unfunded event, Tactical Centers now online. Place a roadblock marker on any 3 routes on the board. And one-time event, Nuclear Option. Destroy 1 card in the infection discard pile. Remove all cubes and fated figures from that city. Mark it as fallen, then destroy this card. You go straight up and nuke something. Now, we did get to use this during the game. One of our one-time event experimental vaccine. Yeah, experimental vaccine. So we used that to ignore our 4th epidemic in the game. And that was actually pretty effective. We'll definitely be using the other 2 in the future. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything for y'all before I sign off, but I think that's pretty much everything that happened. This game will obviously be playing August again. Hopefully we can get the August win bonus. The only other thing I can think of is we did Eradicate Blue. I haven't named it yet. Coming up with a name. We did use that as one of our game end upgrades. The other game end upgrades we used were the operations expert is now determined, so we can take an additional scar on top of this upgrade. Since he already has 2 scars, we figured that'd be a good one to use. The third game and upgrade we chose was to put 3 of these equipment cards on some city cards, or on the player cards. So we got Medkit, discard this card, and 2 other cards at any time instead of adding a scar to your character. The Grenade Belt, discard this card anytime to remove 1 fated figure from the city you are in, and another Grenade Belt.